In this video, we're going to explore something that affects all of us. And that's, where does your electricity come from? You've probably seen, read or heard a lot of hype about renewable energy taking over. Solar panels everywhere, wind turbines taking over the landscape. But is that really happening? Let's look at some actual numbers and find out if the hype matches the reality. This is Big Industry, and this is the Global Energy Power Rankings. Before we start, you should know electricity is measured in terawatt hours. How much is 1 terawatt hour? 1 terawatt hour is roughly the amount of electricity needed to power the entire state of California for 1.5 weeks. Now, our source for counting down the top 5 electricity rankings worldwide is using real data from the International Energy Agency up to 2022. It's the most recent data we have. So, let's see who the big players really are in the electricity generation game. Starting our countdown, at number 5 is wind power. In 2022, wind turbines cranked out around 2,200 terawatt hours of electricity. That's around 8% of all the electricity we used worldwide. Some wind farms are absolute monsters. The biggest in the world include China's Gansu wind farm, which generates over 7 gigawatts of power. And in the UK, they're building the Dogger Bank wind farm in the North Sea that will pump out 3.6 gigawatts when it's done. Wind has grown like crazy since 1990, when it was basically nothing on the global energy scene. That growth is impressive, but here's the reality check. After all that growth, wind still makes up less than 8% of our electricity. All those spinning blades you see on the news, they're just a small slice of the energy pie. At number 4, we have nuclear power. Nuclear plants split uranium atoms to create heat, which makes steam, which spins turbines to make electricity. A uranium fuel pellet the size of your fingertip contains as much energy as a ton of coal. In 2022, nuclear plants pumped out 2,600 terawatt hours worldwide. That's around 9% of all electricity. The biggest nuclear plants are engineering marvels. Canada's Bruce Nuclear Generating Station produces 6.4 gigawatts, enough to power several big cities at once. South Korea has another giant called Hanu Nuclear Power Plant that generates 6.2 gigawatts. Nuclear is a very stable source of electricity for the grid, but it hasn't grown as an energy source much since 1990. Why is that? Well, the plants cost many billions to build, they take a long time to finish, and there's often a lot of resistance from activists despite nuclear itself generating zero emissions. In third place, we have hydroelectric power. Electricity made from falling water. Think of it as a giant water slide that generates power. As the water falls, it spins the giant turbines. And in 2022, hydro gave us about 4,400 terawatt hours of electricity, or 15% of the world's total. Hydro plants include some of the biggest machines humans have ever built. China's Three Gorges Dam is an absolute unit. It can make 22.5 gigawatts of power. The Itaipu Dam between Brazil and Paraguay is another monster at 14 gigawatts. Hydro is super reliable, and operators can scale output up or down quickly when people need more or less power. The problem? We've already dammed most of the good rivers, and new big dams face lots of pushback from activists as well. At number 2, we have natural gas, which gave us 6,500 terawatt hours in 2022. That's nearly 23% of all the electricity on Earth. Not too shabby. Russia has one of the biggest gas plants, the Surgut 2 power station, which cranks out 5.6 gigawatts. That's enough power for several million homes. Japan also has some giants, like the Kawagi power station at 4.8 gigawatts. Why has gas become such a big deal? Well, gas plants are cheaper and faster to build than other baseload power plants. They can fire up quickly when needed, making them perfect for wind and solar, which are very unreliable when the weather conditions don't suit them. And at number 1 in the energy power rankings, generating a whopping 10,400 terawatt hours in 2022, coal is still king. That's over 35% of all electricity on the planet. Despite all the talk about moving away from coal, it has actually grown in leaps and bounds since 1990. The biggest coal plants are highly efficient, modern engineering feats. China's Tuoqiao Power Station pumps out 6.7 gigawatts, making it one of the largest power plants of any kind. India's Vindhyachal Power Plant cranks out 4.8 gigawatts. Coal plants run day and night, rain or shine, keeping the lights on for literally billions of people. Why is coal still the champion? It's simple. Coal is cheap and plentiful. Countries like China and India, where billions of people want affordable, reliable electricity, have built hundreds of coal-fired power plants. Coal works 24/7, no matter what the weather's doing. It's also the backbone of heavy industry, essential for steel, cement, and other building blocks of modern life. The reality is, without coal, modern civilization, as we know it, would grind to a halt. But where's solar, I hear you asking? Well, solar only comes in at 6th globally, behind wind. So despite all the hype about renewable energy, coal is still the backbone of our electricity system, making over 35% of the world's power. Natural gas comes in second at 23%. Together, these two baseload energy sources make nearly 60% of all electricity worldwide. Think about it. For all the headlines and excitement about wind and solar, the world still runs on steady baseload power. And don't forget, as countries develop and more people buy electric cars, we'll need even more electricity. The hard truth, coal isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's too cheap and too important for heavy industry in developing countries. Even with all the impressive growth in renewables, coal is still the king of electricity, and the numbers from the International Energy Agency show it's staying that way. We need to be realistic about how much demand renewables can supply to meet the total electricity required by people on our planet. If we want to make smart energy decisions, we need to look at the actual data, not just the headlines. Coal is number one because it's reliable. It works the heavy industry, and developing countries need it to grow their economies and lift their people out of poverty. What do you think about these power rankings? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe for more of Big Industry.